Good evening and welcome to Sunday Night Satsang with myself, John Homewood.
And Michelle.
Yeah, we missed you last week. We started the Satsang and then dear old Eskom decided to cut the power to our transmitters. So suddenly we had no power. So apologies about that. But welcome. We're going to cover the same topic that we were looking at last week, which is focused action. And so we'll just carry on from last week.
Yes.
Yeah. So welcome.
Thanks for joining us.
And as usual, if you are joining us for the first time, please let us know who you are and let us know where you're watching from. And if you like what we have to share, won't you please press the like and the share button? It really does help get the information out to a broader audience. We find that for some reason Facebook is really limiting the reach of these satsangs. So if you would like to share the light, share, just press the share button. Thank you, and thank you for the hearts. Thank you for the hearts.
Have you with us?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, thank you.
Hi,
Who have we
Diane.
got with us tonight?
Can see Merlene there.
Got Diane, Merlene. Hello, Merlene.
Hello, Paula.
Hello, Paula. Hi, Paula. Yeah, did you miss us last week? We missed you.
We tried.
Yeah, we did try.
There was no signal at all.
We did
nothing,
try.
nada.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for the hearts. So let's start this evening's satsang by bringing ourselves into presence, into alignment with the divine. And the divine is always present. And the divine can never leave us because it is life. Life cannot ever leave us. But we can leave it with our mind, with our thoughts, with our attention. So what we're going to do now is just bring our attention fully into the present moment, into alignment with the ease and the joy and the love of just this moment, here and now. Hello Peter, hello Beverly. Hi. Sure. Hi. Thank you all for connecting with us tonight. I think this time that we're going through is a very challenging time for humanity and Mother Gaia also. It's a birthing process. And birth is never an easy process. And it requires a lot of energy. And these satsangs that we do contribute towards the global energy field. And as we add our presence and our intention and our love into these satsangs, so we grow the field for the new earth to be birthed into. So it is important that we gather here on a Sunday night together. It is. Hello Joel. Hello everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining and thank you for the hearts. Yeah, we love getting the hearts. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you have any comments or questions while we are conducting the satsang tonight, please just type them up. We don't always get to them while we are busy with the satsang, but we definitely will get back to you afterwards. So thank you. Hello Hannah. Hannah. Yeah, from the UK. So just settle back into your chair or wherever you're sitting or lying. Maybe you're on the floor. That's super as well. And just see that you're comfortable. Gently closing your eyes possibly. And we always start by taking a very deep breath in. And as we breathe in, we breathe into the belly button, the solar plexus. So we push out our tummy as we breathe in. And as we breathe out, we relax, drop our shoulders, and just surrender the breath back to life. Taking another very deep breath in, blowing the tummy up like a big ball again. So we're drawing the air into the lower part of the lungs now, and then we just surrender the breath. Just relax and let it go, let it go, let it go. And take a third very deep breath in. Imagine it going right down to your toes this time, so you're really drawing the air into the body. And then that lovely surrendering breath out. Just letting go of all other times and all other places and just becoming supremely focused in your body, in the here and now. And as we breathe out, we relax our neck muscles, we relax our foreheads, we relax any tension in the body. We just surrender any aches and pains to life in this moment. We just let it go, just release it. And we focus our attention on our senses, on our touch. We become aware of where our hands are touching right now, where our feet are touching. We become aware of what we are sitting on, the sensation coming into the body from the cushions or the floor or the chair or the bed. We see that our spines are straight if we can, and we allow the energy of life to move through the body, not blocking it with any resistance. We just open in this moment to life, completely open. We allow life to breathe us, but with every out-breath we surrender more into the present moment, into the here and now. So often when we breathe, we focus on the doing, the in-breath. But the most important part of the breathing is the out-breath, the surrender. Without the surrender, we wouldn't be empty enough to receive the new breath, the breath of life. And so our work isn't so much to breathe in, it's to let go in this moment. Just let go of all the thoughts, all the stories, all the drama, all the identity that we gain from our judgments, from our perceptions. We let it go, we let it slide off us, till there's nothing but emptiness that's witnessing this present moment. Just awareness. And another tool we can do to bring ourselves centered into the present moment is listening. So in this moment we become aware of everything we can hear. You can hear my voice, but what other sounds can you hear right now? Don't worry too much about labeling anything. It's just the direct perception of what is coming in through the faculty of hearing in this moment. That's important. And as you become very still and very quiet inside, you may find you may even be able to hear the pulse of your heart in your eardrums. Every time your heart beats, it pushes the pressure wave through your eardrums, and if you become very still and very quiet in this moment, you will hear it. And as you listen, bring your attention now to that which is listening. Bring your awareness to the consciousness that you are, that is listening. It's not your name, it's not your gender or your age or your race that's listening. It's not your education or your achievements that's listening. It's you. It's the real essence of being that you are. It's awareness. And so as we become aware of the being that we truly are, we open to life in this moment. And as we open, so life is able to flow more fully through us. You might like to just use the power of imagination in this moment to see a beautiful fountain of silver gold light coming in through the crown of your head into your body and expanding and radiating out through your heart. You might like to use the same power of imagination to imagine Mother Gaia giving us a beautiful, beautiful white light up from our feet up to the heart and radiating out. We have this beautiful silver white light radiating from the heart center, bringing healing to humanity. And as we become an open conduit for this healing to flow through us to the world around us, so this healing energy of presence heals us as it passes through us. Taking us deeper and deeper into the true essence of what we are and who we are. Beyond form, beyond structure, beyond labels. To the true essence of unconditioned conscious awareness. To that spark of light. That emanates from the divine of which we are an intimate part. We see the earth now bathed in this beautiful white silvery light. Bringing comfort and care and love to all those in need right now. To all those in need of connection, in need of healing, in need of love. And we're just an open channel, like the hole in the flute that the Christ breath blows through. No doing, just an opening to being in this moment. Feeling the sacredness of this moment in this satsang, and the privilege it is to be here tonight in this beautiful field of love. Holding the space for transformation to take place in. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Being aware of this beautiful flow of air in and out of your lungs, and holding the stillness within your heart. Noticing and giving thanks for the peace that is here now. Take a deep, very, very deep, slow, deep breath in, filling the lungs, and then surrendering that breath, and gently, very slowly, may open your eyes. Just become aware of the stillness in the surrounding space of the room that you find yourself in right now. Beautiful. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you all for adding your beautiful light to the satsang.
Thanks,
you,
everybody. It was lovely, John. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to all of you. Hi, Sarah John. Thanks for joining those of you who joined while John was doing his meditation. Beautiful.
And thank you for the hearts. We love getting the hearts. Thank you. Thank you.
So we're going to talk about what we were going to talk about last week.
Yes.
But then we got stopped
We did.
by Eskin.
We did. Anything happen in the stars
Well,
this
yes, we
week?
just had the new moon.
Yeah, did anyone
2
feel
days
the
ago.
power of this new moon? It's very powerful, particularly in the days leading up to the new moon.
Yeah.
A lot of emotional clearing going on.
Lots of change.
Yeah, a lot of change, yes.
And also, in South Africa, a lot of weather, which is directly associated with the neap tide and the
huge weather.
The new moon.
Yeah, we've had winds where we are. Huge winds.
Our Western Cape has been crazy.
Yeah.
There's lots of water. So it just makes me sort of connect with the energy of the astrological energy right now, which is quite earthed. And it feels, after all these floods that we've had, all this water, and if you take it sort of symbolically, all the seeming chaos, all the sort of confusion that a lot of people are in, that it makes it even more important for us to ground and to bring ourselves back into kind of a grounded focus. So that's what the energy is actually asking us to do, to root ourselves, ground ourselves, obviously in presence, but to actually really connect with Mother Earth, really connect, root, ground, that tap root that we often talk about.
Take your shoes off, get your feet onto, if you can, wet grass, or into the sea.
Or just lie down.
On the Western Cape, that's not a good idea at the moment with the high tides.
No, so just use this energy to ground.
Yeah.
And also, this month, in terms of the sun's journey through Virgo, is really about sort of starting to get little ducks in a row, which we might not know that we have, or how to get them into any row. But it's definitely the energy of sort of organizing and clearing and sorting, so that we're actually reducing the chaos as opposed to having everything all over the place, and then it feels very chaotic. So that sort of speaks into our theme for tonight, which is focused action.
Focused action.
We often talk about non-action and beingness. So what is focused action?
What is it?
I'm asking you.
Oh, like I know. Focused action. It's bringing your full attention, your awareness, into everything that we do. So often our doingness is a means to get somewhere else. It's a means to get to the future. We strive for future, and we miss the very important place, which is the only place that exists, which is the present moment. So it's to use our action to bring us into presence. And we do that by having a very intent and orchestrated focus on what we're doing, particularly the little things, particularly the small little things. Bring your attention onto those small little things that you're doing. I know in Japan they have the tea ceremony, and everything is sacred. The teaspoon is sacred, the cup is sacred, the water is sacred, the tea leaves are sacred, and there's a whole ceremony that they do in the tea ceremony. It takes a long time, and everyone gets a tiny bit of tea, and then you drink that. You wipe the cups. I've done it before, and then the whole thing starts again, and one person, it gets handed around, and then the next person does that part. But it's just an illustration that even something as simple as having a cup of tea can really be done very mindfully, in a very sacred, in a very present way.
It becomes almost like a meditation if you bring your attention to it. So instead of just grabbing the kettle and splashing the water into the cup, to, as John says, to be mindful and respectful of the kettle and of the water that you're pouring into the cup, and stirring the cup and putting whatever you're putting into the cup in a mindful, conscious, aware way. Because when we do that, we are naturally bringing ourselves out of the busy mind and into presence. So whatever we focus on, if we're putting our full focus on it, it is one of the gateways or portals to presence. So going outside, picking a flower, with full attention on picking the flower, not on what you're going to do after the flower picking, and after how you're going to display it. Just picking the flower, which kind of feeds into our inner space theme this month, which is simplicity, which also is very aligned with this, because Simplicity is just bringing it down to this, not this plus that plus that. And most of us spend our lives just moving from one thing to another. We wash the dishes so we can get to the next thing. Or we fold the linen so that we can get to the next thing. Or we have a shower and brush our teeth so we can get to the next thing. As opposed to brushing our teeth, having a shower with full attention. It really slows things down, doesn't it?
It does, and actually stretches time. You know, if you're in the shower thinking about what you have to do next, you're missing the most sacred thing in all of creation, which is the present moment. So if you're in the shower, feel the water on your skin. Be mindful of the privilege it is, possibly, to have running water in your home and to feel that sensation of water on the body. You know, in most sacred practices, there is a process of cleansing the body, and it is a very sacred time to shower, for example, and to spend time feeling the soap on your body, just feeling the warmth of the shower or the cold of the shower if you're having a cold shower, if you're doing one of those Wim Hof exercises. But just to be immersed completely in what you are doing. Yes, there is a purpose in the future. Yes, we understand that that's there, but that's your secondary purpose. Your primary purpose is always to be fully immersed in what you are busy with in this moment. You know, it's rather, you know, like driving a car. You get in the car and you just wish you were already at your destination, and you miss the actual process of driving that car. And some people even arrive at the destination, they have no idea how they got there. Did they go through any red traffic lights? Did they run any stop streets? They have no memory of that because they weren't even in the car driving the car. They were already at some other destination somewhere else. And that's pretty much how a lot of people live their lives. They live their lives making some future imagined destination more important than life in this moment. And as such, they miss their life. Yeah. Your life is only ever now.
The most important thing that you can do is what you're doing right now. Yeah. So right now, in your life, the most important thing you can be doing is looking at a screen or listening to us, because that's what you're doing. And the most important thing we can be doing is speaking with you. The most important thing, this is it. What is it? The most important thing, the most important person in your life is the one that's in front of you. So if you're on your own, then you are the most important person in your life. If you're with someone else, they are. Yeah. And if we focus our full attention on exactly what is arising in this moment, what the other person is saying, really listening, you know, which is something that often gets eroded over time, particularly in relationships where you get used to each other and you think you know what the other person's going to say and you think you've heard it all before, and the presence is to listen to what they're saying, because there might be something new.
Now, to listen without judgment, without expectation, without the need to respond, just to listen, just to hold the space for the other person to express themselves, to speak, without the mental processing that forms a barrier between the two of you.
Yeah, and it's usually the mental processing which then gives rise to you wanting to say something in response to the person before they've even finished speaking.
Yeah. Which
means that we're not listening, because we're too ready to want to be interjecting our own insight or our own opinion. So it's really, for me, this month and this energy is saying slow down a little bit. Slow down, ground, really sink into the moment. And see if you can become more and more aware of those little things. So you're washing the dishes. That's it. You're just feeling the water on your hands.
Yeah.
And maybe feeling the delightful warm water on your hands instead of sort of thinking, I don't want to be washing the dishes.
Yeah.
Because as soon as we're thinking, I don't want to be washing the dishes, we're in resistance to washing the dishes, which means that washing dishes becomes an unpleasant thing to do, because we're in resistance to it. As opposed to, I'm washing the dishes and I'm feeling my hands in the water. and I'm grateful that I've got dishes to wash and water to wash them with. So it's that. It's as John said earlier, it's the simple, small things that actually we think it's going to be a big thing that's going to just suddenly change our lives and transform us. But it's actually usually the small things.
Yeah. The simple things in life are the most important things in our life, irrespective of what our mind is telling us. And why is this important? Why are we bringing this to your attention? Well, we're going through individually and collectively, I believe, an upgrade. We're going through an awakening process. And the awakening process is not to see colored lights and to have everything working out fine in your life. This awakening process is actually to realize that we're not the story that we're telling ourselves. We're not our thoughts. We're not even our feelings. We're the awareness of our thoughts and our feelings. And this matrix structure that we have become so enamored with and lost ourselves in, and it's so sticky, is a word that I would use there. And it takes a lot of conscious focus to remove our attention from time, from the timeline of past and the timeline of future. For most people, they pay brief visits to the present moment, because past and future are just so important to people. But as we start to awaken, as we start to step out of the matrix, so we start to live more and more and more in the present moment and pay brief visits to the past or brief visits to the future. We don't live there anymore. Yes, you can recall the past and learn from the experiences. And yes, you can strategize and plan for the future, but you no longer live there anymore. You live in the present moment. So what we're going through at the moment is a very auspicious time. We've been given an opportunity to step out of the fourth dimension, to step into the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is more the timeless space of presence. And the fourth dimension is very much to do with, well, the dimensions of space, which are width, length, and height. And then the important one for the fourth dimension is time. And time and mind are one and the same. So the fifth dimension is where we start to let go of time, when we start to let go of mind, and we start to use time and use mind, but we don't allow it to use us anymore. And this is something that we need to incorporate in our day-to-day living. It's not something that will come to us in some magical moment when some being comes down in a ray of light. No, it's something that we have to participate in. We have to consciously choose to withdraw our mind from our drama, from our story, from our connectiveness to the preferences that we have in life and the resistances that we have to life and the judgments that we have and the desires that we have, and come into the present moment. And it happens through the portal of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a state of acceptance, a state of allowing. Forgiveness doesn't have to ever be focused on if you're in a state of acceptance and allowing. Forgiveness, non-forgiveness cannot exist in a state of presence. It only exists in a state of time. And part of this process is a letting go. That's what forgiveness is, letting go of attachment to our preferences and our judgments. And we do that by focusing on the small little things that we are busy with moment to moment to moment in our human lives.
Now, as you were speaking, I got quite a strong image of a needle, of the eye of the needle, of kind of honing our attention through a very small little opening. So in other words, we've got to take all of the noise out there and just focus in on, like zoom right in, and that's the portal. So it's taking the noise away, it's taking the complications away, it's simplifying so that you can actually move through that portal and stay aligned in that portal. That was what I got. It's sort of honing. It's like a honing energy. Honing our energy. Mastery is another word that's associated with Virgo. Is mastery. Becoming a master at mastering the mind.
It is. And it's not a case of giving up the mind at all. It's to give up the mind's control over you. We all have addictions, And one of the strongest addictions that most people have is the need to think. It's an addiction. Thinking is an addiction. Probably 95% of our thoughts every day are completely superfluous. They serve no purpose whatsoever other than maintaining a certain sense of self. And I mean, if we look at apparently some people do something called, worry. Some people worry. And there's actually no purpose in worry. I mean, worry doesn't solve anything. And say, worrying is like praying for what you don't want, because you're giving energy to what you don't want. So why do we worry? Well, it gives people a sense of self. I'm a very responsible father or a very responsible mother if I worry about my children. It's a sense of self. That's all it's giving you, besides the grey hairs and the wrinkles. Worry just gives you a sense of self. That's all it does. It serves absolutely no purpose. Now, when you are focused on whatever you're doing right now, there is no worry, because you focus in the present moment. Worry cannot occupy the space of presence. They're mutually exclusive. You're either here or you're in the story in your head. And so by focusing on the simple little things in life, you find there's an ease that comes through you. And you start to experience your day-to-day living, instead of a state of stress, as a state of ease. That's the true nature of life, is ease. That's how life is. But we're not aligned with life. To be aligned with life is to be one with life. And one with life is an acronym for the word owl. If you want to be wise like an owl, become one with life. And to be one with life, we become focused on whatever is occurring in this present moment, here and now.
And a lot of times people around us will pull us into worry or into anxiety, or try to, because they get a sense of identity from that. So you might be doing something that you haven't done before, and you might have people saying, but are you aware of this? And you need to be concerned about that, and have you thought about that? And so even if you weren't worried before, you might be pulled into that, unless you're actually in your center. Unless you are aligned in the moment, doing what you can do in this moment and focused on it, you will get pulled off your center by the news or by somebody that comes into your awareness that makes a comment and pulls you off. So the stronger that we can be in our center, to whatever we need to do to hone that, to go through that little needle eye. So if it's yoga, if it's breathing, if it's just being quiet in the morning or at various times during the day, if it's pausing during our day, if it's bringing our attention back to our breath, whatever it is that brings you back is actually steadying us for whatever's happening on the outside. And there's a lot happening on the outside in our world today. I think we're probably seeing more change and more chaos than we've seen maybe in our lifetimes, if you really look at what's going on with natural disasters and with governments and countries and all sorts of things. So how do we go through it? How do we stay out of that realm of worry? Because it's another realm. We're entering into a whole nother realm, which is not real, because it's all stories.
And to let go of worry, one has to align yourself with life, with presence. And a lot of people don't trust life. Not at all, they don't trust life. They think that they're in control of the universe, and if it wasn't for them, that sun wouldn't rise tomorrow, they need to worry about that the moon wouldn't rise, that Pluto and Saturn would bump into each other if it wasn't for them, and they really think they're in control of the universe. But just ask yourself a question right now. Are you beating your heart? Do you know how to contract those muscles in your heart to get the blood to pump around your body? And I know that you can consciously control your breath, but for most of your day, and definitely at the night when you're sleeping, there is no conscious control of the breath. And the pumping of the blood around the body and the breathing are the two most vital things to being alive. And that isn't taken care of by your rational mind, by your strategizing mind. It's taken care of by life. There is this intelligence that beats your heart, that digests your food, that breathes you, that grows your fingernails. That intelligence of life needs to be honored. It needs to be surrendered into. When you surrender into life, worry becomes completely superfluous. It's impossible to worry when you are surrendered.
I think we need to maybe clarify, maybe you can clarify. A lot of people say that I don't trust because I've trusted before and it didn't work out the way I wanted to. And I'm saying that because I know that that's a comment that people often say. I'm not going to trust anymore because the last time I trusted and it didn't work out the way it was supposed to work out, which obviously is your ego preference that you're trusting. But this is a different trust.
So you can think of yourself as a child sitting maybe next to your father or mother who's driving the car, and they've given you a plastic steering wheel. They're driving the car and you've got your plastic steering wheel. And, just so happens that when you turn right, your parent turns right as well and the car goes right. And you think, sure, this is pretty good. You turn left and the car turns left. And you become convinced that you're driving that car. You never were driving that car. That plastic wheel is just a plastic steering wheel. And I believe that our lives are being directed by a higher intelligence, the same intelligence that beats our heart, the same intelligence that brought you here in the first place. If you think it was your mother and father that brought you into the world, think again. If your parents are still alive, go and ask them after the satsang. Tell me, Mum, tell me, Dad, how do you make a neurological dendrite? How do you make an iris or an earlobe? How do you make the spleen or the lungs or the liver? How did you do it, Mum and Dad? You made me, so how did you do it? And they'll look bewildered. They never made you. They don't know how to connect the neurological tissue to the dendrites. They don't know how to build a muscle. They haven't got a clue. They haven't got a clue. The most obvious thing in the world is that your parents didn't make you. That life did. This greater intelligence that orchestrates the planets, the star systems, orchestrated your being here, in this place, here and now.
Yeah. And got you here at the very moment of your birth, which gave you a unique blueprint that nobody else has got.
Yeah.
And that's not random.
Yeah.
I see it every day. It's not random. So if, we often say either everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. So if everything is in a beautiful ordered design, then there can't be anything that isn't in that.
Exactly.
It's impossible. Which then, if you are a warrior, then that might ease that worry. Because if you're here and you're right now listening to the satsang, that's what you're supposed to be doing. And your life has got you to this point that you're doing this. And the next thing you do, that'll be the next thing. And it's all aligned with your great organizing design. So a lot of people have said to me in the past, I'm scared that I'm missing the boat, I haven't done what I thought that I should do in this life. I should be doing more. I should have done more. I should be more successful. My relationship should be better, or whatever it is. And I'm just going to say, what if you can't miss the boat? You're on the boat. If you weren't on the boat, you wouldn't be here. So what if you can't miss the boat? What if everything in your life has got you to where you need to be, exactly the way it is now? Changes things when you ask that question. What if there are no mistakes? Ever? It's another biggie. What if? Just ask yourself, you don't have to say there are no mistakes, but to ask yourself the question, what if there are no mistakes? What if I'm here for a reason at this time and everything that's happened in my life has needed to happen? For not only my human experience, but for my soul's evolution, more importantly than the human experience. Because the human experience is fleeting, but the soul's experience is not. And wherever we are now in our minds, we carry that with us when we leave the planet. So this is our chance on this interesting, dynamic black and white, hugely complicated planet of Earth, this is where we get to actually experience everything. The dark, the light, the relationships, the love, the hate, the everything, the whole spectrum. We get to actually experience it here, and then move back into the soul, into away from the human experience.
And the human experience is so sacred, it's so precious. Don't waste a single moment. Come back to the small little things that you're doing now, and give your full attention and be grateful for the small little thing that you're doing, this cup of tea that you're drinking, for example. And to realize that you don't have a life. Life lives you. Life dances through you. Your job is to experience it. Let go of the worry. Remember I said earlier about driving the car with a plastic steering wheel in front of you while your parent is driving the car. And you're driving that car quite happily, and then one time you turn left and the car goes right. And you realize, oh my goodness, I was never in control anyway. I was never in control. And that's where Michelle was mentioning earlier about the lack of trust. But I turned left and life went right.
Yeah.
But life is more intelligent than you. Life knows how to grow your fingernails. Life knows that you need to go right even when you are trying to turn left, because there is a higher purpose in you turning right in that moment.
And that doesn't mean that if you turn right, it's going to be all hunky-dory and rainbows and angels. Because maybe your soul has signed up for something else. Maybe you need a challenge. Maybe you signed up for this because you're balancing some karma. But if you see it as the what if it's not a mistake, then you can accept what is happening, even the challenges. And there might be huge challenges. A lot of people are going through huge, immense challenges. That doesn't mean that you don't trust life.
And doesn't mean they're wrong.
It doesn't mean they're wrong. Because we tend to, as humans, we tend to see trust like that. I trust that it will go the right way, according to me.
According to my ego's needs and desires.
It's all going to turn out fantastically.
According to my expectations. And that isn't the plan that you signed up for. It's not the play that you wrote before you came here. You know, it's like going, I've said it a few times before, going to the gym and lifting the weights to find one day that the weights weigh nothing. They've removed all the heaviness from the weights, and they're just so damn easy to pick up. Do whatever you're doing. And then you lose the opportunity to build the muscle. Because it's through the resistance of the weights around us, it's through the challenges that we grow. And so every challenge that you ever have had in your life, or will have in the future, is merely another opportunity to strengthen your spiritual muscle, to awaken more to this present moment. You see, we can't deal with all those 101 things in the future, but we can always deal with the one thing we're dealing with now. And if you bring your full attention, your focus to the action that you're taking in this moment, that's all that's required. And you can do that. You can always deal with the present moment. Always. You always have and you always will. So don't worry. Just bring your attention to the sacredness of whatever it is you're doing at this moment. You get in your car to drive your car, sit for a moment before you start your car. Just experience the chair that you're sitting on, the lovely, comfortable car seat that you're on. Just appreciate this lovely vehicle that you have to take you to your destination. Take a moment to be mindful of that. And as you drive, be aware of the driving process. Be aware of your indicators when you indicate. Be aware of the steering wheel as you corner, or the brake, or the accelerator. Be aware of that. So you bring your focus into the present moment.
Yeah, and focus on the road that you're on, and the flowers that you can see. And you actually focus on the road that you're on. Because most of the time, as John said, if you get to your destination, you'll find out that if someone said to you, how many cars did you pass, and what colour car was that parked on the corner, you wouldn't have any idea. Because you were in a rush, or your mind was on the destination. So it's just to bring it back and to know, as the Course says there, opportunity to strengthen.
Yeah.
That is, if we see challenges like that, then they're not nearly as dire. Because the challenges that we see when we go into fear, usually the fear is, I'm not going to be able to deal with X, Y, and Z.
In the future.
In the future. It's going to be, I'm going to mess up. I'm going to not cope. I'm not good enough to cope. Whereas if you know that each challenge that you're getting and that that's coming into your awareness is strengthening you, and it's strengthening your root, and it's honing you so that you can move through that eye of the needle, then it's okay if you've got challenges. And it's not that you've done something wrong if you have challenges. Before you came here, you were very wise. You chose exactly what you were going to experience. It was all written down. And now you're playing it out. So then we can stop being so worried about whether we're doing it right or wrong, and where it might end up. What if it didn't matter, actually? It's just this.
And this is simple. Present moment is always simple. It's always simple.
The mind doesn't like that, though. The mind,
the mind loves complicatedness. It loves to complicate everything. That's what the mind does. And if you live in your mind, you live in a very complicated world. Very stressful world, very worrisome world. When you live in presence, it's simple. It's really so simple, and each and every moment is simple. It really is, and you can breathe, and you can feel the ease of the flow of life in this moment. Life becomes a joy when you focus on the simple little things that are being done in this moment.
It's a focused action.
Focused action, yeah, there we are.
Breathing slowing down.
Yeah. And if any of you are not part of the Inner Space community and would like to join, just go to our website, journeysofawakening.com, and you can sign up for Inner Space. You can join for a month, you can join for a year, whatever suits you. And every month we give you a meditation, we give you simple journaling exercises, we give you creative exercise, and affirmation. And it's just to help you focus in whatever the theme is for that month. And this month it's simplicity. Yeah. Simplicity.
And they are lightly themed to the astrology of the time each month.
Yeah, there are flows of energy coming through that Michelle looks at from an astrological point of view, and you realize the perfection in this universe. Just truly, truly amazing. You're not a random dot in a random universe. No. Not at all. Not at all.
Part of a vastly
beautiful tapestry.
Pattern.
You're part of a beautiful tapestry that's unfolding, and your job is to experience it with the depth of life and love and acceptance in this moment.
I think the tapestry is a beautiful analogy because you're a part of that. You're a thread in that, and every tapestry needs different colours. They need different textures of thread, different dark pieces and light pieces to make it interesting. Otherwise, it'd be very bland. So to just see each of us as a thread in the tapestry, and each thing that happens as part of the pattern, and there's a great order.
Would you like to lead us into a focused
something or other?
Focused meditation,
yes.
Visualization?
Yeah.
Thank you for being with us. Let's just settle down once more and become fully aligned with life in this moment. Become wise like an owl, one with life.
All right, just close your eyes and start to settle in even more. Taking a slow, gentle, but deep breath in. Holding for a moment and then releasing that breath. Just blowing the breath out. And another slow, deep breath in. And out. Do one more beautiful big deep breath in and out, feeling your body slowing down, feeling your energy coming into the rhythm of your heartbeat. and listening. Focused attention on just listening to what you can hear. Maybe you can hear your breath. Maybe there's some sounds in the room, or some sounds outside the room. Simply listening. Allowing the sounds to be as they are. No resistance, no stories. Just accepting what you can hear. If you listen very, very carefully, you might even hear the sound of your heart beating. Connect with what you can see in this moment. Full focus on what you can see behind your eyes, or if your eyes are open, what you can see in front of your eyes. Again, focused attention on your eyes and your vision, with no attachment, just your attention. Feel into your human body right now. Get a sense of yourself sitting or lying down, where your body is touching the surface. Feeling of the clothes that you have on your body. The sensation of the air on your skin. And then bring your energy and your focused attention to your hand, your right hand. Focus all your attention on your hand. And see if, as you focus your attention on your hand, you can sense anything in that area. It might be a subtle warmth or tingling, some kind of sensation that allows you to know that energy is moving into your hand. And now focus your attention on your left hand and feel what you can feel in your left hand. And now both hands together. Open your hands so they're facing upwards. See if you can sense the energy flowing through your hands. And bring your attention to your breath. Not trying to change it, just allowing it to be as it is. Noticing the breath. And if thoughts of the future or something that might be concerning you come into awareness, gently, gently bring yourself back. Bring yourself back to the breath. yourself back to this moment. Feeling as you become more and more relaxed, more and more open. As any concerns or anxieties or resistances just slide off you. As you anchor yourself in this precious present moment. Feel this presence grow and expand. Right here, right now. In this beautiful, healed place. A place of pure potentiality, pure power. Allow this to fill you up. And from this place, you are in the center of the wheel. So no matter what is happening on the outside, in the exterior world, you are centered in your own beingness. Our affirmation, which I've just pulled the card, is I allow what is to be. This is love. Maybe listen to those words. I allow what is to be. This is love. Allow those words to carry you into the new week in a centered, loving space, an accepting space. I allow what is to be, and this is love. Now taking a deep breath in and a relaxing, beautiful release breath out. And when you're ready, you can gently start to open your eyes.
Thank you. That was beautiful. How do you feel? You feel a bit more centered, a bit more peaceful, a bit more relaxed? Thank you for being with us tonight. The affirmation is I allow what is to be. This is love. I'll print it and photograph it and put it up on the Facebook page. Let that be your guide for the next week, and we'll catch up with you next week for Sunday Satsang. Thank you for being with us tonight. Thank you for sharing your love and your light.
Thank you.
Okay. God bless.
Good night.